Today I will explain about analytical chemistry of class 10 ICSC board. It is the name I have given in my YouTube channel. So there I will explain about the fourth chapter of your ICSC chemistry syllabus, that is analytical chemistry. What we will learn in this chapter? It is written there that it is all about the identification of a metal ion present in a given salt solution. There are many cations, but we will learn about only 7 of them. It will be 6 of them, not 7, of which few are colored and few are colorless. These solutions, when react with concentrate alkali, that means sodium hydroxide, or sometimes potassium hydroxide is also taken, or weak alkali, ammonium hydroxide, they either forms a precipitate or not. If they forms a precipitate, that may dissolve in excess of the alkali or that may not. So let me clarify that part. In analytical chemistry terms came from analysis. There is a similarity between the term analysis and analytical. It came from analysis. Analysis means what? Suppose we are given with a salt. Now the salt contain one cation, one anion. Identification of the anion, it belongs to the practical chemistry part. It is given in the last chapter of class 9 as well as of class 10. Few questions come from that chapter also. And salt contain one anion, one cation. Cation is generally the metal ion present in the salt. Now there are many metal ion, many cations are also there. Out of those metal ion and those cation, we have to learn about only very few of them. 6 cations are given in your syllabus, and they are copper ion, ferrous, ferric, zinc, lead and calcium. These 6 are there. So these 6 ions are given in your syllabus, out of which 3 ions, that means copper, ferrous and ferric, they are colored ion. Rest 3, they form colorless solution and they form white precipitate. So like this we will remember them. First 3 colored, rest 3 colorless. Whenever these solutions are given in a test tube, what we will do? We will take either sodium hydroxide solution or ammonium hydroxide solution. Then drop wise, 1 drop, 2 drop, like that we will add in the given solutions. Whenever we are adding those solutions in drop wise, they may form precipitate. Now the precipitate may have color or they may not form, no problem is there. If they form precipitate, we will look at the color of them. Is it colored or it is white color? Now after adding 2-3 drops, when the precipitate will form, we will continue the addition of the alkali till in excess. Whenever we are adding in excess, 2 things may happen. Either the precipitate, that means corresponding hydroxide of the metal ion, either that may react with the excess alkali and that may form some complex salt which will dissolve, or that will not react anymore. So in analytical chemistry, one thing will happen, that we will take the salt solution, we will add the alkali. After adding the alkali, we will get a precipitate that may have the color or that be white color. Whatever it is, we have to remember the colors. Then we are adding excess. Now after excess addition, what happens? That's all about analytical chemistry. So it is written there that we need to know the basic chemical changes that takes place when any alkali added to the salt solution. What are the chemical changes that takes place over there? That one. And next we must memorize the color change. There I have written in one particular term. We have to memorize, because only understanding cannot give you the full marks. You have to memorize the color. For what the color forms, their understanding is needed. But what is the color? Is it white? Is it red? It is blue? That one you have to memorize. So we must memorize the color change or formation of precipitate, and if any precipitate forms, whether that is soluble or not. That one only. So these things only we will learn. Once more I have written there what happens when alkali added to salt solution. Step by step read with me. That alkali contain hydroxide ion, OH minus, whether it is sodium hydroxide, it is ammonium hydroxide, it is potassium hydroxide, any kind of alkali contain OH minus ion. There one difference is there between alkali and base, you know about that, I am not explaining that one anymore. Now whenever it is added to any solution with a metal ion, metal hydroxide forms as precipitate. I will explain after that. Watch till the end. Now if we continue the addition of the alkali, then the metal hydroxide reacts with the OH minus ion, and if it forms a soluble substance the precipitate will dissolve. That's all. Now look at the next part of the video and learn what is there. In your syllabus, there are total 6 cations are given. I have written there copper, ferrous, Fe2 plus, it is called ferrous ion, Fe3 plus, that means ferric, then zinc 2 plus, lead 2 plus, and calcium 2 plus. In book some different orders are given, but try to follow my order, it will be more easier. Now have a look. The first 3 ion, copper, ferrous and ferric, these are colored. So I can write these are COLURED, colored solution. And these 3, they are colorless solution. Their solution are colorless. These are colorless solution. What is the color of these first 3? Copper, you know that it is having a blue colored solution. Copper solution is blue colored. Ferrous 2, it is very pale green color. Fe3 plus, brown color. We are also writing reddish brown color. Zinc, lead and calcium, their solution have no color. It is similar like the water. So with strong alkali, that means NaOH or KOH, all forms their hydroxide. That is copper hydroxide, ferrous hydroxide, ferric hydroxide, zinc hydroxide, lead hydroxide and calcium hydroxide. With weak alkali, that means ammonium hydroxide, the same thing happens. That means these all are same, but calcium don't forms precipitate. That means if we take calcium solution and if we give ammonium hydroxide, what will happen? No PPT forms. Why? Because no reaction take place. But in rest all the cases these are same. Suppose it is a test tube. There I have taken any solution that may be copper or iron or anything. Copper 2 plus, iron 2 plus or 3 plus. From there I am adding the alkali dropwise. Whenever these alkalis are coming over here, what happens? This copper 2 plus ion that may be coming from copper sulfate solution, copper chloride solution, copper nitrate solution, whatever it is, doesn't matter, but copper 2 plus cation is there. With this, the OH minus ion is coming from where? Either from sodium hydroxide or from ammonium hydroxide or for potassium hydroxide, anywhere. That means whether the alkali is strong or weak, OH minus ion is coming from the alkali and Cu2 plus ion is coming from the solution. Whenever these two are reacting, they are forming CuOH whole 2. It is a precipitate. What is a precipitate? Whenever two solution reacts and after their reaction one solid substance is forming, that is called precipitate. So precipitate is the solid substance that forms when two solution reacts. Copper sulfate solution was taken, hydroxide solution was added over there, this is the solid, so this is called precipitate. We need to remember their color. Now I will explain that if we take all these solutions and if we add sodium hydroxide, first in the small quantity, then in excess, what happens there? First I have written about copper. That means if copper salt is taken, generally copper salt solution have blue color. If any copper solution I am taking, it may be copper nitrate or copper sulfate, they are having blue color. So with this blue color copper, if we add sodium hydroxide, so from sodium hydroxide OH minus ion will come, and I am adding small quantity, means 2 or 3 drops, drop wise I am adding. So whenever drop wise it will be added, what will happen? This copper 2 plus ion, it will react with the OH minus ion, and after their reaction what will happen? CuOH whole 2, copper hydroxide will form. Now if NaOH is added in excess, this copper hydroxide will not become soluble, this will remain insoluble. Fe2 plus ferrous ion, green color, dirty pale green also I can say, pale green color. So with NaOH in small quantity it will form FeOH whole 2, ferrous hydroxide. What is the color? Dirty green, similar color. What is the solution? That like that color only it forms. So dirty green color precipitate, in excess it is also insoluble. If I take Fe3 plus, brown color, reddish brown precipitate of FeOH whole 3, also insoluble. So first 3 color salt, just remember the color: copper blue color forming pale blue precipitate, ferrous green color forming dirty green precipitate, ferric brown color forming reddish brown precipitate, and all the 3 are insoluble in excess of sodium hydroxide. Okay, now if we come about these three, zinc, lead and calcium. First I am coming to zinc. White color. White color means it is colorless solution, but I am saying whenever precipitate forms, that is white. So gelatinous white precipitate of zinc hydroxide. No need to memorize the gelatinous, but there is a similarity. Whenever I am saying zinc and gelatinous, both are starting with zo. Zinc gelatinous, like this. So zinc is forming gelatinous white precipitate. It is soluble in excess of sodium hydroxide. Lead is also white. It is having chalky white. It is also soluble in excess. And calcium, it forms calcium white, but it is insoluble or sparingly soluble. Sparingly soluble means very little. So zinc, it is a white color precipitate, that is soluble. Lead with white color precipitate, soluble. Calcium, it is having white color precipitate, but it is insoluble. So what is the fact? That whenever zinc or lead will react, they will form zinc hydroxide and lead hydroxide. Now these two, that means this zinc hydroxide and this lead hydroxide, they may react with excess of NaOH, and after their reaction something will form that dissolves. So let us look at the reaction. When zinc salt reacts with NaOH, it forms zinc hydroxide, and this zinc hydroxide with sodium hydroxide forms what? Na2ZnO2 plus 2H2O. This is called sodium zincate. Similar reaction, lead hydroxide with 2NaOH forms Na2PbO2 plus 2H2O. It is sodium plumbite. Names are different. It is sodium zincate, and this one is sodium plumbite, not plumbate, plumbite. This one, but the reaction pattern are same. Try to memorize them. Zinc hydroxide, 2NaOH I have taken because I have to form Na2ZnO2. So this Na2 and this zinc, this O2, I am saying Na2ZnO2. Then there are 2 OH and there is 2 hydrogen. It will form 2 water. In this way you can memorize the reaction. So from this NaOH, 2Na, it is reacting with this zinc. So it Na2Zn and this O2, Na2ZnO2. There are 2 OH that is remaining. There are 2 hydrogen that is left, forming 2H2O. Similar way, it is forming this. For memorization, you can follow this method. Now I will explain what happens with ammonium hydroxide. If I take in small quantity and then in large excess, what happens? Similar way I have written about copper. Copper will form pale blue precipitate of copper hydroxide. That is same with the ammonium hydroxide, sodium hydroxide also. Copper, it was pale blue precipitate of copper hydroxide. It was insoluble. Now there copper will form pale blue precipitate of copper hydroxide. It is soluble. So whenever it is soluble, what is the color? It forms inky blue solution. Ferrospheric, dirty green precipitate and brown precipitate, both are insoluble. If it is insoluble, then same with the previous one. Zinc, gelatinous white precipitate, also soluble. Lead, white precipitate, insoluble. And calcium don't react at all, so don't form any precipitate. Now whenever this copper hydroxide and this zinc hydroxide, they become soluble in excess, how they react? Let us look at the reaction. Copper hydroxide is taken, 4 ammonium hydroxide was taken. So copper from 4 ammonium ion, NaHT whole 4 I am writing, and this OH2. You try to memorize the reaction in this way. Suppose copper hydroxide is there, just separate them. So Cu is coming there, this OH2 is going at that part. From 4 ammonium ion, 4 NH3 put there. So this one is a complex salt. The name is tetra. Tetra means 4. Tetraamine copper hydroxide. So remember the name, tetraamine copper hydroxide, and forms 4 water. How it forms 4 water? There was 4 NH4. I have taken NH3. That means in each ammonium ion 1 hydrogen extra. So there are 4 hydrogen ion, 4 OH. It forms 4 water. Okay. Same reaction is taking place in zinc also. ZnOH whole 2, 4 NaOH. I am separating. Zn is coming there, OH2 is going there. NH3 is inserted, 4 water. In some book you can get that it is, except writing OH2, there are sulfate is written, because in the previous step of the reaction, if I take zinc sulfate, sulfate is formed. If you take zinc nitrate, nitrate will form. Better to remember this equation. So now see, whenever I have completed that part, what is coming? It is coming that whenever I am looking about sodium hydroxide and if I look about ammonium hydroxide, we can make one chart that which are soluble, which are not, and if they soluble, what kind of reaction they are undergoing. Now if we combine both together, that means what happens with ammonium hydroxide and sodium hydroxide one by one. Let us look at the first ion copper. OH minus ion is coming from anyone, forming CuOH whole 2. Now if NaOH is given excess, nothing happens. If ammonium hydroxide is given excess, inky blue solution of this salted triamine copper hydroxide. With Fe2 plus and Fe3 plus, with both of them it is forming FeOH whole 2, FeOH whole 3, and with excess both are insoluble. If I look about zinc plus 2 forming zinc hydroxide with NaOH, sodium zincate soluble, with NH4OH, tetraamine zinc hydroxide soluble. Lead forming PbOH whole 2 with sodium hydroxide, sodium plumbite soluble, with ammonium hydroxide remain insoluble. Coming to calcium ion, with small amount of NaOH, calcium hydroxide is forming, excess insoluble, and with ammonium hydroxide no reaction. So it is very easy. Simply remember that it is forming their corresponding hydroxide and whether they are soluble or they are insoluble. One thing I will say that whenever this kind of different kind of questions are coming from this chapter, the students are making mistake in writing what are the changes that takes place. Sometimes you are writing that suppose copper sulfate copper solution is given and it is given that ammonium hydroxide solution is given to excess. What will happen? Write your observation. What you are writing? That you may write that whenever ammonium hydroxide is added to copper sulfate solution, it forms pale blue. It forms pale blue color. You are not mentioning the term precipitate, and then it is wrong. Also, sometimes you are not writing that if added excess, it is becoming soluble and forms inky blue solution. Precipitate when becomes soluble, that forms solution. That term you are not mentioning anywhere. About the color also you are not mentioning anywhere. So whenever this kind of questions will come, you have to be very sincere that what the question actually asks you. So that part also I will explain, some answer of some questions I will explain. Just follow it. I hope it will be clear to you. Till now what I have explained, that is action of alkali, that means NaOH or NH4OH to the salt solution, and after that what is the precipitate that forms, their color, whenever excess is added they are soluble or not. Most of the questions are coming from this part, but there are one more part in your syllabus, that is action of alkali on metal, metal oxide and metal hydroxide. Three metals are written in the book: lead, zinc and aluminium. What is the action? That one is given there. To discuss this part of this video, I have taken the help from Devashree ma'am of Deepal School, Berhampur. Now it is written there amphoteric oxide and hydroxide. What is that? Few metals are there, zinc, lead, aluminium. They can react with both acid as well as alkali. This nature is called amphoteric nature and these are called amphoteric oxide. Their hydroxides are called amphoteric hydroxides. How they react? It is given there. Suppose in the first two reactions it is given zinc oxide is taken, and whenever zinc oxide are reacting with NaOH, see there are equations are given with NaOH as well as KOH. You look at any one of them because both are similar. If I look about sodium hydroxide, ZNO plus 2NaOH, it is forming Na2ZNO2 plus water, sodium zincate. With potassium hydroxide, that will form potassium zincate. Both are oxides taken and sodium zincate, potassium zincate, these are formed. If we take hydroxide, zinc hydroxide we have taken, so what are the reaction? Similar kind of reaction, ZnOH whole 2 plus 2NaOH, Na2ZnO2 plus 2H2O. That is called sodium zincate. Again, when potassium hydroxide is taken, K2ZnO2 is forming. That four reactions are from zinc oxide and zinc hydroxide. Now look about aluminium. Aluminium oxide, it is forming NaAlO4 and aluminium hydroxide is forming NaAlO2. Potassium hydroxide will giving KaLO2. I will say you that you remember, no need to remember all the equations. You remember first one, zinc oxide with NaOH, second one, zinc oxide with KOH, third, fourth, and then you remember these two. Aluminium oxide with KOH forming potassium aluminate, and AlOH whole 3 plus NaOH, sodium aluminate. That's enough, rest are not needed. So whenever these oxides and hydroxides are reacting with sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide, strong alkali, what they forms, these reactions are given in the syllabus. Now ma'am has given some questions. I am trying to explain all these things. Some sample questions are given, very nice things it is. Sodium hydroxide solution is added to the solutions containing the ions mentioned in list X. List X means here column A, and list Y gives the detail of the precipitate. Match the ions with their colored precipitate. This kind of questions are frequently coming in the exams. Just look at the two columns. Column 1 is given 6 cations they are given: lead, ferrous, zinc, ferric, copper 2 plus, and calcium. 6 ions they are given. Also I can say only these 6 ions are given in the syllabus. So from the syllabus only it is given. Column B, a few precipitates are given. First one is reddish brown, second one white insoluble in excess, third dirty green, fourth white soluble in excess, fifth white soluble in excess, sixth is blue. So let us match each of them. First one is given reddish brown. Reddish brown is coming with what? Surely it is Fe3 plus. So reddish brown is with Fe3 plus. This is reddish brown. Reddish brown is Fe3 plus. Next one is given white insoluble in excess. There you have we have given NaOH. So what are white? Lead is white. Lead forms white salt, but in excess it is soluble. Zinc forms white, it is also soluble. Calcium is white, but calcium remain insoluble. So for the second one, white insoluble in excess, that is calcium. Third is given dirty green. Whenever the term dirty green is given, it is always Fe2 plus. So this is Fe2 plus. Fourth is given white soluble in excess. Two options are given: white soluble in excess. 5 point also given white soluble in excess. So two salts are there. Suppose lead Pb2 plus. Lead also it is white, PbOH whole 2 it is forming, and soluble in excess sodium plumbite it is forming. Zinc same, zinc hydroxide, sodium zincate. Last one is given copper, it is forming blue. So all the 6 we have already matched. Now question 2 is given. Write the equation for the following reaction. ZnO is treated with sodium hydroxide. That equation I have already also told you, that zinc oxide with NaOH, it will form sodium zincate and water. That similar equation is given. Just this is the equation I am showing you. This one, ZnO plus 2NaOH, Na2ZnO2 plus H2O. Now ammonium chloride is heated with sodium hydroxide. This one I have skipped somewhere. Whenever any kind of ammonium salt are heated with any alkali, they always forms ammonia gas. It is given in the book. You must look at that part. Ammonium salt, ammonium chloride, ammonium sulfate, like this, when reacts with any alkali, they forms ammonia gas. Identify the substances P, Q and R in each case based in the information given below. First one is given: the deliquescent salt P turns yellow on dissolving in water and gives a reddish brown precipitate with sodium hydroxide solution. This answer is ferric chloride, FeCl3. FeCl3, it is a deliquescent salt. So whenever it is kept somewhere, it will absorb moisture and it will form solution. Also it is given that whenever we are adding NaOH, it will form ferric hydroxide, FeOH whole 3. So all the observations are same. So what is the salt? It is FeCl3. So you will write the answer that P is FeCl3. That means ferric chloride. You will not write the formula, write the name in full. B, the white crystalline solid Q is soluble in water. It liberates a pungent smelling gas. It will be ammonium chloride, because ammonium chloride is water soluble, and whenever reacts with sodium hydroxide forms pungent smelling gas, ammonia. Number C, the pale green solid R turns reddish brown on heating. Aqueous solution gives a white precipitate with barium chloride solution. The precipitate is soluble in water, mineral acid. So how to answer this kind of question? See, it is given pale green solid R. So whenever green, we know that it is ferrous ion, Fe2 plus ion is there surely. Now aqueous solution gives a white precipitate with barium chloride. So with barium chloride solution, sulphate ion gives a white precipitate of barium sulphate. That means the salt is FeSO4, ferrous sulphate. Ferrous sulphate is the salt. Okay, hydrated ferrous sulphate, it is the salt R, which on heating forming ferric oxide Fe2O3, that is reddish brown in color, and this salt solution when reacts with barium chloride forms barium sulphate, that is a precipitate, white precipitate, and which when added with mineral acid forms a solution. Then question number 4, give one chemical test to distinguish between the following pair of compound. Number 1 is given iron 2 chloride and number 3 is given iron 3 chloride. What will be that answer? Take both the given solution in 2 test tubes and add drop wise any alkali, that may be sodium hydroxide, that may be ammonium hydroxide, which will form dirty green precipitate, that one is iron 2 chloride, which will form reddish brown precipitate, that is iron 3 chloride. You can mention also that both are insoluble when added in excess. Number 5, give one test each to distinguish the following pair of chemical compound. Number 1 is given zinc nitrate solution, number 2 is given calcium nitrate solution. You can use both sodium hydroxide as well as ammonium hydroxide. So let me discuss with sodium hydroxide. So whenever the given solutions are taken in a test tube and drop wise sodium hydroxide is added to both of them, it will form white color precipitate. If we add excess, the one which will dissolve, that is zinc, and the other one which will remain insoluble, that is calcium, because calcium hydroxide don't dissolve in excess sodium hydroxide, that one. If you use ammonium hydroxide also, you can write the similar kind of answer. There you have to write that in which one will not react, that is calcium, because calcium don't react with ammonium hydroxide and forms any precipitate. Last one is given iron 3 chloride solution and copper chloride solution. It is also very easy. We add any one alkali, which one will form reddish brown color, that is iron, which one will form pale blue precipitate, that is copper. Now there if you take sodium hydroxide, till now it is clear, it is okay, but if you take ammonium hydroxide, then you have to mention the next step also. This answer I am explaining once more. 5B answer, that iron chloride and copper chloride. Simple I am saying, pay attention. If we add sodium hydroxide solution, the one which will form reddish brown color precipitate, which is insoluble in excess, that is iron chloride. The another one which will form pale blue precipitate, insoluble in excess, that is copper chloride solution. Answer is okay. If you write, if you take ammonium hydroxide solution, then your answer pattern will be different. We have taken the solutions in the test tube and added ammonium hydroxide solution first in little amount. The one which will form reddish brown color precipitate and insoluble in excess addition, that is iron 3 chloride. The other one which will form pale blue precipitate, which becomes soluble and forms inky blue solution on excess, that one is copper chloride. There I have mentioned that on excess what happens, so that term also you have to write. That's all. Thank you everyone.